we're back, and this is the segment of the show where I give you my take on outrageous events in the news. And anyway, so, I wanted to talk about the Cliven Bundy situation again. Cliven Bundy, he's been in the news, obviously. He was fighting the good fight. He was trying to fight the fact that the federal government is overreaching and trying to basically kick him out of public land. We've had this conversation in the past. I won't have it again. That's not what this is about today. And by the way, if you want to join the conversation, give us a call at 619-924-0986. Again, that's 619-924-0986. Or you can email the show at talk@onthemoveshow.com. So, I know... I don't know if you all feel the same way about the situation, but I'm actually mad as hell right now about Cliven Bundy. I'm really upset. If you've been living under a rock somehow this past week, you may have missed the fact that Cliven Bundy actually has been caught up in this controversy that somehow overshadowed the land battle he's having with the federal government. His comments have overshadowed the fact that he's in a land battle with the feds. Cliven Bundy's been using his 15 minutes of fame to take it upon himself to talk about other issues that bother him. So, now he's going off on a tangent. He's going off and talking about random things. He needs to stick to the freaking issue, all right? Now, because of his inarticulate and ignorant terminology, he's being called a racist. So it's totally hijacked, this whole situation. The situation now has been taken from being about the federal government's overreach, and now it's about him. Now he's being called a racist, and he's being discredited along with his cause, and all of the supporters that supported him are now racist too. So this is his cause, this is my cause, this is your cause, this is our cause, and he's totally hijacked it. And I am pissed off, everybody. I'm really upset that he managed to put himself in this position that they can totally hijack it and try to turn it into something that it wasn't about in the first place. So I have his remarks. Here's the full controversial remarks that he said. Okay, so you guys be the judge of this. Is he a racist or is he not?
And so what I'm testifying to you, I was in the Watts riot. I seen the beginning fire, and I seen that last fire. What I seen is civil disturbance. People are not happy. People are thinking they don't have their freedoms, don't have these things, and they didn't have them. We've progressed quite a bit from that day until now, and we sure don't want to go back. We sure don't want these colored people to have to go back to that point. We sure don't want these Mexican people to go back to that point. And we can make a difference right now by taking care of some of these bureaucracies and do it in a peaceful way. Let me talk to you about the Mexicans. But these are just things I know about the Negro. I want to tell you one more thing I know about the Negro. When I go through Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and I would see these little government houses, and in front of that government house, the door was usually open, and the older people and the kids, and there's always at least a half a dozen people sitting on the porch. They didn't have nothing to do. They didn't have nothing for their kids to do. They didn't have nothing for their young girls to do. And because they were basically on government subsidy, and so now what do? They abort their young children. They put their young men in jail because they never learned how to pick cotton. And I've often wondered, are they better off as slaves picking cotton, having family life and doing things, or are they better off under government subsidy?
Transfer. They just transferred at that time.
Yeah, they didn't get no more freedom. They got less freedom. They had less family alive, and their happiness, you can see in their faces, they weren't happy sitting on that concrete sidewalk. Down there, they were probably growing their turnips. So that's all government. That's not freedom. Now let me talk about the Spanish people. I understand that they come over here against our Constitution and cross our borders. but they're here, and they're people. And I've worked side by side a lot of them. Don't tell me they don't work, and don't tell me they don't pay taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And don't tell me they don't have better family structures than most of us white people. When you see those Mexican families, they're together, they're picnicking together, they're spending their time together, and I'll tell you, in my way of thinking, they're awful nice people. And we need to have those people join us and be with us, not come to our party.
Okay, so that's the controversial clip. I played it in its entirety. I didn't chop it. I didn't take it out of context. That's it. Okay, so let me read off some stuff that's going on in the chat room. We have a listener who says he's not at all a racist, and that some people said that he took his eyes off the ball, and he just didn't know when to stop. We have people that said they were amazed at how fast people turned on Bundy, and they were saying that they agree with each other, but he needed to have a manager, seriously. So he needed somebody to filter it out for him. So, all right, here's my thoughts, okay? Like I said, I am angry. I am so angry at this man. He took something that was so important. This event, it was huge. It was the equivalent of the Boston Tea Party. Now it's tainted. It is tainted. He's turned it into something else, totally different. I'm so angry at this man right now. I cannot, and I will not support him anymore. I'm not going to do it. And the reason why is because we lost the moral high ground. The moment he started ignorantly spouting off to anyone who would listen to him, the media knows he's a ticking time bomb for our cause right now. They'll let him speak, and they won't dare interrupt him when they're giving interviews to him, because they know that if they only give him enough rope, he'll hang himself. They don't need to push him. He'll just continue to talk his way into a corner. This is not the guy that we need at the helm. This man is not the cause to get behind, in my opinion. Now, as far as the cause itself, I think it's a just cause, and I think it was an absolute injustice what's going on over there. I think it was an amazing victory that we had. Now it's tainted. It's all ruined, because now it's not about the land grab. It's not about the cattle battle. It's about, is Cliven Bundy a racist? It's about this man. And liberty shouldn't be about a man. It should be about a movement. It should be about a set of ideals. But now it's been twisted. It's been turned. Now we got to dig ourselves out of the hole. We had the moral high ground to begin with. We didn't have to dig ourselves out of any hole. And this man, he's still going around talking. He's no problem telling people, giving more interviews, and he's not articulate. He needs a public affairs official, something like that in between him. But let's ask the question, all right? I guess I have to answer the question. Do I think that Cliven Bundy is a racist? No, I don't think he's racist. I think he's ignorant. I think he's inarticulate. But I don't hear hate coming from him in this clip. I don't hear any hate speech. He's not saying. He's just ignorant. He's using old-timey words, and he's an old-timer, but I totally fundamentally disagree with him, and the way that his argument was made, whether or not you're a slave to the government or you're a slave to a private person, you're still a slave. There's no freedom. There's no freedom there. So don't try to say that these people are more free as slaves than as slaves to the government. That doesn't make any sense. Your argument is wrong on so many different levels, and the whole idea of saying that black people are in a bad situation now because they never learned how to pick cotton, and maybe if they were just slaves, then they'd be all right. No, I refuse to disagree with. I refuse to agree with that. I refuse that argument. I fundamentally disagree with that on so many levels. There's a lot of stuff happening in the world, in our society, that we can talk about, and this is one of those things. I'm not shying away from this conversation. I just think that he needs to not talk about anything other than his own specific issue. Freedom of speech and all that, that's great. He can talk all he wants, but he's damaging the cause because he's inarticulate, because he's controversial, and he's just ruining the whole situation. So, anyway, I have a clip here from one of his bodyguards that was still there supporting Cliven. Okay, so and this bodyguard just so happened to be black, and I found this really interesting and intriguing. So we have a black bodyguard of Cliven Bundy, and he's asked what he thinks about this controversy. So here's a clip.
You're protecting this man, and he's wondering whether African Americans would be better off as slaves. How does that strike you?
Doesn't strike me any kind of way. This is still the same old Mr. Bundy I met from the first day of all this happenings.
But aren't those offensive comments to you?
Not at all.
Not offensive?
Because Mr. Bundy is not a racist. Ever since I've been here, he's treated me with nothing but hospitality. He's pretty much treated me just like his own family. I would take a bullet for that man if need be. I look up to him just like I do my own grandfather.
Why?
Because I believe in his cause, and after having met Mr. Bundy few times, I have a really good feel about him, and I'm a pretty good judge of character.
If only Cliven would have stayed on topic and away from microphones. The media is not his friend. Maybe the cause would not have been derailed, but it's derailed now. We have lost the moral high ground, and anyone who stands with Cliven is automatically going to be labeled a racist, and the mudslinging will begin. There are many causes that we can get involved with and we can stand up for. But this man, he's not a man I can stand behind. I just can't do it. There are so many other causes out there that aren't spearheaded by an ignorant man that will self-destruct if given enough airtime. The problem is that when we the people are fighting an injustice against the government, we don't have a public affairs office. We don't have trained public speakers in charge of giving interviews. The media loves to find the worst of the bunch, all right? And this happens, just look at your local news, people. Every time your house blows away or there's a tornado that whips through town or floods, something like that, they always find the person who least represents a community. They try to find the guy that has the least teeth in his mouth to give the interview. And, it seems like the worst of the bunch, they love that attention. All right, they absolutely love it. But Mr. Bundy, he's hijacked his own cause, and he's made it all about him. And like I said, I'm pissed off. This really, it got to me. It got me really frustrated, and I had to think long and hard about it. If I could still support him, but I can't. I just can't. I can't do it anymore. And if you guys still support him, I'm not getting on you guys. I understand the fight. It's still a good fight. The land grab, the cattle battle, that was legitimate, and it's a real situation. The problem is the guy they have at the helm, the person who is the icon of that thing, the representative of the battle, he now is a horrible spokesperson for it. He's severely damaged the cause, and like I said, there are plenty more causes out there. Cliven isn't the only one fighting the government over land rights, so let's rally around those people. Anyway, that's just my opinion.